My name's Claire Langhammer, and I'm particularly interested in how everyday individual men and women understood love in the mid-century period. What love meant to them, whether they married for love or whether they married for other reasons. I think the key thing that I found is that love has a history, that love is not unchanging and the same over time, that actually it shifts according to historical context. There's some quite nice evidence in some of the contact magazines. There's a newspaper called the Matrimonial Post and Marital Advertiser. It's quite interesting to look at the differences in what people want from a marriage partner over time. In the period before the Second World War, so the 1930s, it's about looking for a good housekeeper or looking for a good breadwinner. Post-war, people begin to advertise for soulmates. There's a real difference between wanting a soulmate who's going to transform you and somebody who's basically pleasant. In the 1930s, being in love might be to do with respect, a good sense of humour, domestic life. 1960s and 70s, it might be far more to do with passion and sex and what increasingly is termed sexual chemistry. Being at Sussex is brilliant for this kind of study because, of course, we have the internationally renowned archive, Mass Observation here. Mass observation itself really emerged in the late 1930s. It uses some social investigation, it uses a volunteer panel of diarists, and it uses people who respond to questionnaires. For me, mass observation allows me to get at people's understandings of love within the period I'm looking at.
And this is a really lovely example of one observer who was sent out to find out about dancing, how men held their partners, and he devised this torso count in which he's placed each position. And what he did was count how many men were holding their partners on the shoulder or how many of them held them at the waist or slipped below the belt.
My main conclusion is that this mid-century period sees a rise in expectations of intimacy. People increasingly expect more from their romantic partners than they had previously. And because they're expecting more, there's actually far more potential for disappointment. Sussex is a brilliant place to do this research because of the Mass Observation Archive, because it allows me to get at individual understandings of social worlds, which is my key interest as a historian.